Hello and welcome back. My name is Jen. So today I kind of want to tell you about a Facebook group that I had found that has been so amazing for finding new pins, trading pins, buying pins. I would say on most of the things I talk about on my videos, like I am an expert in nothing, but I seem to like dabble in everything. And I'm certainly happy to share my experiences with different things I've tried and whatnot. So I've only been collecting Disney pins several months now, but that was a fast downhill addiction that we are now heavily immersed into. So, I mean, I had just done like a search on Facebook for like Disney pin trades or something like that, and I had joined like a bunch of different groups. Some, didn't even really like look into them, just had like joined a bunch. So this one had kind of stuck out to me after a while, and it is a pretty popular group. So it's got over 3,000 members in it. So it's called Pinning with Pow and Friends, and that is what the top of the page looks like there. And I did ask her, I was like, do you say your name, is it Payo or Pow? And she's like, Pow, like Kung Pao chicken. So every time I see her name, I can't help but think of Kung Pao chicken. So anyway, so that's the group that you want to look for, and it's called Disney Pin Trading, Pinning with Pow and Friends. So what makes this page a little bit different, so in a lot of different Facebook pages, like it's just kind of like a free-for-all, which is fine, if people can be like, here's my pins that I'd like to trade, this is what I'm looking for, and that's all fine and well. But with this page, like they're really organized, and you definitely see a bunch of like higher end pin ones that I didn't even know existed. So I'm not entirely sure what the process is, but if you have a pin that you want to trade, I know there is a process like to get on a list to be eligible to go ahead and list your pin for a trade at that day. And it'll show up on the page. I'm going to scroll down and find one here. Okay, so I'll scroll up so her name isn't there. But what you'll see is it'll say, there'll be some B's there, and it'll say Pinning with Pow, buzzing for a trade. And it'll be auction duration 1 hour. So these are happening like all the time at different times, and just as you're kind of scrolling through Facebook, you'll just happen to see one by chance and be able to get in on it. So this one actually ended, last night, but when this was posted, it was open for an hour. And what they'll do, so this was the pin, an Artland pin, LE of 300, and that was the pin that was up for trade. So they'll say this is what's being auctioned off. They'll put their in search ofs, but really you can offer up anything as a trade. So it becomes like a bidding war. But if they put their in search ofs, you might have a better chance, even if your pin is like of lesser value than what someone else is like bidding. If that's what they're searching for, they might choose you over them. So then they have to put if they are accepting non-pin items, and this person said yes, accepting fan-made items, and this person also said yes. So then those comments, that auction will be open for an hour, and different people will comment on it. And I believe every 15 minutes, the original person that posted the pin that they are trading, they will post, it's called a leaderboard. So they will say like, okay, as of right now, in first place, this person, second place, this person, third place, this person. So the people bidding can kind of get an idea, be like, okay, well, this person is in first place, and you can look and see what they bid, like which pins they bid. And that's what you're trying to beat. And you can continue to add to your bid. So if you already put a pin up saying, I'll trade you this, but you're not on that leaderboard yet, you can continue to add to your bid and be like, okay, well, I'll add this one and I'll add this one. And it's pretty interesting. So I've only kind of watched these happen. I was too scared to jump in myself. But last week, I just happened to be scrolling Facebook just as this auction was starting, and I saw a pin that I had never seen before, and oh my goodness. I love pins that have like an art print on them. And this was a Thomas Kinkade Beauty and the Beast pin. I knew nothing about this pin. So the auction, since it was going for an hour, I had a little bit of time to try to do some research. Wasn't able to find much. So, you look on eBay just to see has this pin been offered on the market before? What have other people paid for it? What's it worth? Am I able to get it elsewhere if I want it? So the thing was, this pin came from the D23 Expo in California in 2019. And it is a limited edition of 300. And there were 2 pins released. There was a Thomas Kinkade Cinderella and a Beauty and the Beast. And at the time when I went onto eBay, there was a couple Cinderella ones that I could find, and they went for about $80. I could not find any Beauty and the Beast ones. So I kind of thought, I'm like, well, maybe this one's more, well, it's not more rare because they're both LE of 300, but it, you know, hasn't been kind of floating around on the market as much. So anyway, you know, if I had to put a dollar amount on it, I knew it was at least $80. But, your heart gets racing and you get those emotions involved when you're like in this live auction setting. And you know, I don't have what I would consider like trader pins. In my mind, if I have a pin, it's going on my wall and I'm keeping it forever. I'm not a huge trader. I have traded before, but when I saw this pin, I'm like, oh my goodness. So I'm looking at my walls, like, what do I have that is of any value that I'm not like super attached to that I can get rid of? One of my more valuable pins I had was one of the Music to My Ears pins. It was a cast exclusive LE 800, and it was the Frozen one, and I know those go for about $70. And it was my hopes to collect all 12 of those at some point, which is like impossible until I come up with like hundreds of dollars to get them all. And that was the only one I had so far, so don't tell my husband I got rid of it because that was his favorite pin. But in my mind, I'm like, I can replace it later, it's okay. So anyway, so I threw that up on the comments for, you know, my bid. And I think when she posted the leaderboard, I was in 3rd place. I'm like, oh. So then I like keep looking, I'm like, what else has value? What can I add? And I got up to, you know, I added a few more pins, and then I made it up. Next time the leaderboard was updated, I was in 2nd place, getting close to the end. I was tied for 1st place, and I was adding, I had 5 pins, 2 Loungeflies. Because remember, it said like if they were accepting non-pin items, and it said yes, and fan-made items also said yes. I actually ended up with 2 of this Mickey Clouds bags from the recent UK re-release. Because my husband knew I was trying to get one, so I got one, and he got one for me, not knowing that I had gotten. So anyway, I ended up with 2. So I offered up that in the trade, plus another Loungefly that I had that I wasn't super attached to. And towards the end, like, I was tied for 1st place, and I just threw my Hail Mary, and I pulled up on my wall here. I had my oil painting of the Up house, with the balloon house. Original oil painting that I did last year, and I threw that in with my bid as my Hail Mary. And I won! That was the craziest auction. I have no regrets though. Although sure enough, a couple days ago, I did look on eBay again, and I did see a Beauty and the Beast one that had popped up and sold. But anyway, that was a fun experience. So let me show you this pin. Okay, so this is what they sent me. I had to FedEx her like 2 boxes because I had the Loungeflies and pins were in one box and the artwork was in another one. Oh, okay. So, and she also sent me some cute stickers. Very nice of her. So I have here, I'll give you a closer look in a second here, but here is the Thomas Kinkade Beauty and the Beast. Now, when I got this one, I was like, well, I have to have it Cinderella match. So I did go onto eBay, since like I said, there was a couple Cinderella ones on there, and purchased that on eBay. So I came in this here. Okay, how many of us have actually like cut something we're not supposed to when opening up these mailers? I figured, you know, the pin, I could feel the pin down here, so I figured I was safe. But here, they were nice enough to send me a California adventure map, but I kind of accidentally cut the top. Oh, that's okay. But that was very nice of them. Oh, and they had also sent me these 2 like vintage postcards. That's awesome. So nice. And that was like, this wasn't even like a Disney trade, like this was an eBay purchase, and they put those things in there. That was so nice of them. And here was the Cinderella one. So I have these two together. I'll go ahead and put these up on a board to give you a closer look. Look how beautiful these are. Okay, so here are the Thomas Kinkade. And they are just so, so beautiful. So I love those. Like, I wish there was more. I mean, my wallet is happy that there's not more of those. But, oh, they're so beautiful. So then, also as, you know, part of that auction, as I was watching the different bids, a pin popped up that I don't think I'd ever seen before. That's the other cool thing about this page. So you see like so many different pins come out of the woodwork that people have. So someone had offered up this pin as a bid. It's like, oh my gosh, I love that pin. So I went on eBay then to seek out that pin, again, that I didn't know existed until somebody put it up like as part of their bid. And I'm like, oh, I have to have that. So that was another eBay purchase. So again, so this pin did not come off of that page per se, but I did learn of this pin from somebody else posting this pin on that page. So I love the Rescuers, and I do have a couple pins. I want that to be like one of my main collections. And look at this, I'll take it out of the plastic. But this is just so beautiful. So this is a Walt Disney Imagineering exclusive LE of 250. So, I mean, this also was not a cheap pin. Oh, but I love it so much. So we'll start with the back there. You can see LE of 250. And then here, look at that. Oh, that is so cool. So I guess this is a thing, like these film strip pins, these were made with like a bunch of different movies on them. But I don't think I had seen the one with the Rescuers on it before. I just love that. So there's what it'll look like on the board. Oh, I like that a lot. So then back to this Pinning with POW page. So they also have live sales. And I had seen these pop up before, and I'm like, what the heck is going on? Because you'll see like this grid, and I'm like, what are they playing, bingo or something? Like, I didn't know what was going on. So here finally last week I decided, well, let's pay attention and see what's happening here. I didn't plan on like buying any, but I wanted to at least understand what was happening. I don't know where all these pins come from, but they had a ton of pins. So what they'll do is they'll take a pin and they'll show it up close in the camera, and then they'll put it down on the board. So within this grid, there'll be like numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So they'll put that pin then down on the table and move on to showing people the next pin, and then they'll put that one down. So if you see one that you want, you just comment. So if they put a pin down in square number 9, you would comment sold 9, and there must be someone in the background then that's, you know, keeping track, and you just contact them afterwards, pay them, and they send you your pin. So something I was a little leery about, just because it is like a live sale, and you know, if a couple people want the pins, the same pin, you know, it can move quick. So I'm like, well, I don't want to overpay for anything. How do I know like what the value is? So on a couple of the pins, like even ones I wasn't really interested in, I just wanted to see, you know, are these fair prices? And they absolutely were. I would look up pins on eBay to see like, hey, what are they sold for? What are they going for? And each and every time, like, her prices were spot on, if not like, you know, a little bit less. So then I was very comfortable, like, you know, if she presented a pin and it had a price on it, like, I didn't feel concerned that I was gonna be like overpaying market value. Like, she knew her values, knew her prices, and they were priced like very appropriately. So same thing, like, it was so exciting to see like all these pins that I had never seen before, and they're like really good pins, like expensive ones. And it was just like super cool and super fun to watch. There was a Robin Hood one that popped up, and again, like I hadn't seen it before, and I wasn't fast enough with commenting because I wanted it, but someone else had commented first. But again, you know, now that one's on my radar, and I've been checking eBay, and it's one I want to add to my collection eventually. But another one that I did not hesitate on at all. So I will show you. So the Artland pins, if you're familiar with them. So I have 2 already of these Mark Chilcott pins. So again, art prints on a pin I love. So this one here is Toy Story. This one here is WALL-E. So there are 5 total. These 2 here that I just showed you are the only 2 like still readily available on the market. The other 3, you know, I think have been sold out for a little bit, are a little bit harder to get. They're more expensive than what the original price was. But, you know, I've known that it would be nice to get more to add to this set. So when Pal showed this pin, I'm like, sold! Like, I want that pin. And I did. I got it for a good price. You know, if they are available on eBay, but I would have paid, you know, a couple more dollars for it. And here it is, the other Mark Chilcott one, and this is a limited edition of 100. There you go, you can see that. In the back here, you can see it's number 65 out of 100. Add this one to the family. So there are those 3. Look at how good those look. So there are, like I said, 2 more in that set. There's a Ratatouille one, which I would love to get at some point. And there's a Coco one. I did see the movie Coco and it was cute. Just like skulls and spirits, like not really my thing. But if I got Ratatouille and I was that close to having the set, then yes, I would go for those. So these are to all of them look together, and I will be giving them their new homes in their appropriate spots back here on the wall. Oh, and Wishables. I almost forgot to mention Wishables because I don't really collect them. But after all the pin sales were done, she brought out the Wishables, and there was just like Wishables everywhere. Like, it was crazy. And she was very knowledgeable about those as well, and gave pointers as to how to spot fake Wishables and things like that, which I didn't even know existed. But so if you're into Wishables, also a good place for those. Oh, and also Pal sends this cute pin here, and it says "Pinning with Pal and Friends." Aww, it's this pin, super cute. So if you are not a member of that group, you know, even if you're not comfortable like trading or bidding on those auctions or being a part of the live sale, just be like a silent observer, kind of like I was for a bit, until you're kind of comfortable jumping in. Feel free to ask questions. They are all like so super nice in that group. And I just love like seeing all these amazing pins being put up for auction, and it's just been super fun. So definitely check out that group. I'll try to link it down below, but again, it was Pinning with Pal and Friends, Disney pin trading, pinning with Pal and Friends. So yeah, comment below, let me know, like, hey, are you a part of that group? You plan on joining it? Do you have any of these pins? Do you know anything more about these pins that I don't know? Like, I'd love to hear anything more that you have to share about them. For now, that's what I wanted to share today. So thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you next time. Bye.